Let's begin today's Vanguard news with 2 promo cards for Genesis and Dimension Police for Premium, since most D-series cards that are actually good are locked behind the energy mechanic and players don't want to feel neglected. Witch of White Moon Assassina is your typical V-Guard whose only difference is to put up to 4 normal units with the same grades from your soul or drop zone to the bottom of your deck, then she gets 20k shields. If you return 2 or more cards, then you can pay 1 counter blast. If you returned 4 cards, to give your Vanguard 5k power for that turn. Last I checked, Genesis was still one of the top contenders in the format due to how they can perform a lot of combos. Let us hope this doesn't create another infinite loop of sort. Dissolution Monster Assajush is your typical V-Guard whose only difference is that it gets 10k shields for every 2 of your units. Then you can pay 1 counter blast if you have 2 or less units to give your Vanguard 5k power for that turn. So having a full field would give this card 30k shields. Shame that it'll probably never happen with this clan. Bushiroad has revealed the contents of the Harry and Nitro Stride deck sets, so you can rummy your labyrinth in anticipation. No skills have been revealed, but each deck set will come with an energy generator crest, so that the 3 people at your locals who refuses to buy the stupid startup trial decks won't have an excuse anymore. Furthermore, Lunatic Dragon and Obadiah are confirmed to be the respective deck sets' first Stride G units. But before you add Fate Rider Dragon in your G zone in the event that Lunatic Dragon is bad, Bushiroad has once again updated the rules in which the G units of each clan are locked to their respective clan ride lines. So the 2 people shipping Chrono and Luna due to the tutorial episode can't have their dreams come true. However, this rule does not apply to the main deck cards. So it's still technically possible to use something like Upstream Dragon in Harry. Blanked Maya players rejoice. You get 2 seconds of fame as you get 2 new cards in DZBT04 along with Rezael. Steam Fighter Urn and she when put on the Guardian Circle lets you pay 1 Soul Blast if you have a grade 3 or higher Blanked Maya Vanguard to get 10k shields and a continuous ability that binds himself face down if he would be retired from the Guardian Circle. For a card that's supposed to speed up binding cards for Blanked Maya's divine skill, it's very slow by making you wait until you're at grade 3 in guarding. V-Drop Dragon when placed on rear guard that isn't on the battle phase makes you soul charge 1 card, then you can pay 1 counter blast to call a grade 2 or lower card with a different name than itself from your soul, and that unit goes back into your soul at the end of your turn. If you don't have a Blanked Maya Vanguard when you use this ability, and while on rear guard during your turn, it gets 10k power for every 4 face down cards in your bind zone. Did Bushiroad just made a Magia card before Harry even comes out? This is seriously just a discount for what and Revertis that has a penalty if you don't have a Blanked Maya Vanguard. Sacred Edge Dragon when placed on rear guard lets you pay 1 counter blast if your Vanguard has a divine skill to return one of your opponent's back row rear guards to the bottom of your deck. As cool as this card looks, this is just a worse Gloria Storm Dragon. Hell, you want a card that works better? Blithin takes out all copies from rear guard in the drop zone and hard countering cards like Roaming Prison Dragon. For something that's supposed to be a sacred edge, the effect sure is common. Finally, Knight of Perspicacity Catullus when placed on rear guard lets you give up to 1 of your units 5k power if you have a grade 3 or higher Rezael Vanguard. He gives 10k power instead if he was placed by your Vanguard's ability. And while on the back row rear guard, he gets the intercept ability and can intercept from the back row if you have a grade 3 or higher Rezael Vanguard. This is such a waste of triple rare space that it isn't even funny. The only time you ever want to call him with Rezael's skill is when you're at 2 or lower damage. I suppose you can replace your starting Vanguard to put him in, but would you sacrifice a potential draw if you're going second just so you have a tech unit in the early game? A tech unit which you also need to soul blast in order to get value. Even then, you would call him in the front row along with Sergon behind him to get the best value of that turn, thus making the back row intercept ability redundant. Worst of all, he doesn't even get extra shields, making him even more worthless. And that concludes this Vanguard news without the bullshit. Special thanks to my Patreon members for continuing to support my content creation. Be sure to subscribe and let me know in the comments if you would consider making a card like Catullus as your starting Vanguard.